Greetings, my fellow freedom lovers and sovereign thinkers. This is LL3's newest podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful swampy mangroves of South Florida. And today's date, Wednesday, December 28th, 2016. Yes, another year is coming to an end, according with the Roman calendar. Yeah, so right now I am at Squiggy's Pizzeria. Tony Milo is the owner, has his brother as well. You should go there, check it out. Good folks, ugly guys, good food, nice hospitality. Located at 207 here Marshy Street, which is Southeast 2nd Street in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And they're open late, 6 days a week, closed on Mondays. But definitely New York style pizza. Yeah, they do a good job at it. New Yorkers that hate the police state as well. Give them a little love. Tell them, look, the third sent you. Yeah, just scoping out some of the sites earlier today, and may have some potential sponsors, but that's to be announced. If it's official, I'll let you guys know. No high expectations, just make it happen. And yeah, a lot of celebrities have been passing away. May the souls be forever free. During that time, like past 5 days, I haven't been on. You know who they are. So, and a lot of stuff is happening. Of course, battles and wars and bloodshed, which is just as very essential. So, don't let the Church of Hollywood control your minds. Okay, that's how I see. That's what makes you. That's why you should always see things a lot broader than what they want you to see or sought, seek, observe. Yeah, I have my buddy Jake hanging out here, lounging out, chilling. So, you know what? Enough of the small talk. Let's start it off here, which stuff pertaining to government. I think it's pretty cool in my view. So, oops, I forgot to do a couple things here. I think I goofed. No, I didn't goof. Yeah, this one here came from Activist Post. It's by Derek Bros, who's from Houston Free Thinkers. He's an investigative journalist. He's on a lot of sources, a lot of good amount of stations that want like-minded folks, not these little Uncle Tom and Jemima shows. But he has had a report here. It says here, judge orders U.S. government to release classified surveillance files. All right, it says here, proponents of digital privacy and government transparency scored a victory on Thursday as a federal judge ordered the Department of Justice to provide files related to a secret telephone spying program. In 2013, the New York Times reported on the existence of a previously known data mining program known as Project Hemisphere. Remember, I talked about that on my past episodes, so check it out. The project was developed in secret by telecommunications giant AT&T and the U.S. Department of Justice as a tool to help with drug enforcement task forces. However, there is a concerned amount of mass surveillance of innocent individuals. Hemisphere searches trillions of phone records, identify the name and location of each an individual on the phone, and then sends the data back to the DOJ. Yes, in the name of the war on drugs, we could go all hail to Big Brother, my friends. 1984. Woo! Now, the U.S. Magistrate Judge Maria Ella James has found the U.S. government has failed to justify their reasoning for denying Freedom of Information Act request related to Project Hemisphere. Judge James ordered the DOJ to provide her with files of her own private review. Remember, DOJ, you are not above the law. The ruling comes as a result of a lawsuit filed by the Electronic Frontier Foundation in July 2015 after the DOJ refused to release data on Hemisphere. EFF attorney Aaron Mackey told AllGov he was very pleased with the court's decision today and are optimistic that the reviews of the documents will demonstrate or show that the government's withholdings are unjustifiable and hopefully ordered the release of documents that have been withheld. Mackey also emphasized that it has become very clear AT&T is not willing participant, but at the center of this mass surveillance program. The Justice Department claimed the files were exempt from disclosure, claiming that the release may reveal confidential sources or law enforcement techniques. James was not satisfied with the DOJ argument. Bravo. I will proceed. The government argued the agency's task should not be Herculean in providing supporting evidence for its claimed exemptions, James wrote. But while the government need not expose the very information contained in the withheld documents, here it does not provide sufficient information for this court to assess its assertion of privilege. The court is now asking the government to make a Herculean effort, merely something beyond regurgitation of the elements. Yes, the world does not revolve around you, bunch of disgusting asswipes. And I'm being polite right now. The New York Times first reported on Project Hemisphere after they released their previous training slides regarding the collection of billions of call records, as well as AT&T employees embedded with of operations of the Drug Enforcement Administration. Yep, AT&T employees are just being bend over bobs to the state. According to the PowerPoint presentation, the program was started in 2007 and requires officials to never refer to Hemisphere in any official document. The program has collected records on some phone calls dated back 26 years ago. Project Hemisphere is yet another example with one of the many tools available to the parasitic classes in the corporate and state arenas. In other words, fascistic. It becomes increasingly difficult to keep track of the number of tools, software, legal loopholes, and weapons of mass surveillance now available to the U.S. government. Will 2017 be the year that the American people will stand up and reclaim privacy? Or we will witness the slow death of the concept of privacy? Well, I'll tell you this. There's a big spiritual warfare happening right now, not just the United States, but the world. And I tell everyone here, fight these parasites. Vultures, or other words, psychic vampires. That's what they are, disgusting slobs as they expose themselves a lot more. And they believe they are special and higher, more powerful than you. Now you got someone out there writing tickets for the city's debt. Keep it up. So, being sarcastic, but this is how I am right now. But Judge Maria Eleanor James, I thank you for saying that and saying don't buy it. That is awesome. And one thing we got to know for sure, my friends, we got to keep the war going by preserving our Bill of Rights culture. So don't think the government's higher than you, because it's downright blasphemous and unacceptable. All right? So the next one here I'm going to be addressing came from, we'll just say Blacklisted News, right? I think it was republished by Muckrock, from Muckrock. Okay. So Doug Owens from Austin, Texas. We're Facebook pen pals. We follow each other on Twitter and all that. BlacklistedNews.com. Check it out. He has a good show. He has a few others as well. I think Doomcast is another one. You should give him a listen. He's fun. He's fun, very informative, and he's not a Uncle Tom, just like the Department of Justice is some of those AT&T employees. Okay, make that plain and simple. So let's see here. CIA admits it hasn't touched FOIA requests in 6 years. Says it will close case if requester doesn't reply. Back in 2011, Muckrock user Jason Smather filed a FOIA with the CIA for all responses they had sent to requesters containing term record system. This was reference to 2 earlier rejections he had received from the agency, which cited the inability to perform a search in the system based on the terms Smathers had provided. In response, the agency sent him partially redacted copies of those same 2 rejections. Yeah, they think they're special. So special. Smathers immediately appealed on the grounds that the beguarded belief that he had been the only requester to have an exchange with the CIA containing the words record system. Which is worse, the casual admittance that they hadn't done anything over half a decade, or the unfathomable audacity putting Smathers on deadline? And while 2 months sound pretty generous, keep in mind that they've been sitting on this for 72 months, a mere 36 times what they're giving him. To give this sum further context, Mather's request was assigned to an internal muckrock tracking number of 238. If you were to file a request today, you've been given a number in the 31,000s. The CIA FOIA officer not reading this, there have been children born since this appeal was filed that you could have a conversation with. This is bad and you should feel bad. Please don't be bad, be good instead. Get rid of that damn fax machine. Exactly. Well, truth of the matter is the CIA has been hiding stuff for a long time. They've been responsible for many things that happen around the world, dictating and telling everyone how to think and when to wipe their behinds. Good book to read again. I say Blowback by Mr. Johansson. You look it up. There's a CIA terminology that how everything blew back in their faces, including the American hostage crisis that was started. That was the how that got created was Operation Ajax in 1953. You know, I'm not gonna make this stuff up, my friends. Look it up. And National Security Archives has copies of that CIA admittance of replacing Mohammad Mossadegh with the prime minister with the Shah of Iran. But now all this has been happening, and all this is happening with the information war, and plus they cannot release. They think they're above everybody, and they know that their power is slipping away too, thanks to the information war. So this is good news. I say I agree. Get rid of those damn machines. Get on those Florida Chris. If not, go somewhere else because you're contaminating space. All right, this one here next came from Mint Press News, and it came out today as well. Derek Bros once again. Houston police force homeless to throw away donated food blankets. Wow. So how's it feel having a Benito Mussolini Mao Tse-tung fetish? As it reads here. Hold on, a little bit froze. Come on. Yeah, sorry about that. It froze there for a moment. So it's from Mint Print News, Mint Press News, excuse me. But Derek Bros once again. Houston police force homeless to throw away donated food and blankets. Shows their manhood. I'm just doing my job. Okay, I'll continue on here. The Houston Police Department targeted a group of homeless advocates who are attempting to hand out food and gifts to the homeless. Local activists attempting to hand out food and gifts were shocked on Thursday afternoon when Houston police forced the homeless to throw away their donations. Around 1 p.m. on Thursday, several individuals met in downtown Houston to distribute plates of hot food, blankets, and other supplies to the city's growing homeless population. Soon after, Houston police arrived on the scene on two different intersections where the homeless advocates were giving out gifts and food. According to witnesses' testimony posted on Facebook, the police instructed the homeless to throw away everything they had been given. Not only were the police called, but they were brought a large waste management truck and are forcing the homeless to throw away their food, pillows, and other items, reads one post. A video from an ABC 13 social media correspondent shows the police and trash vehicle parked under a freeway while a man narrates the situation. Cover blankets, difference like that, pillows. They are throwing all of that away, he says. Sharadora local activist who works with several organizations, including Food Not Bombs Houston, was involved in the food sharing and saying the throwing away of the gifts were all uncalled for. Of course, what they're convicted of. I'm highly disturbed because a lot of these items were not only given to the homeless by the community, but some of these blankets and jackets were literally purchased by homeless advocates like myself, Dorr told NE Media. HPD and the city of Houston are taking our cash and throwing it in the trash. And what point will our police stand up and say that this is wrong to do to the people? Do to people. Only moments before throwing away gifts, the Houston police stopped Dorr and a fellow advocate. Dorr said her friend was taking photos of a police vehicle when police began questioning them. claiming someone had called and complained about people feeding the homeless. Yeah, the person made that complaint's a total wuss, as far as I'm concerned. In a video posted on Facebook, Dore tells officer she will feed the homeless whether it's legal or not. Exactly, no victim, no crime. That's a natural born right under the Texas Constitution. Article 1, read it. And tell them if you don't like it, leave. These types of situations are likely to increase in Houston due to a 2012 city ordinance prohibiting the sharing of food with more than 5 people at a time without fulfilling certain requirements created by City Council. The controversial measure known as Anti-Food Sharing Ordinance by critics was passed in 2012 despite resistance from one of the large coalition of political activists and religious organizations in Houston. The criticisms of the ordinance range from beliefs that it represents an attack on the homeless population to assertions is another example of government restricting freedom. The ordinance requires applicants to fill out a form and seek permission to feed someone while someone else is on private property. Oh, I'm sorry. Something like that, like toilet paper, man. You can just use it as toilet paper, okay? We have to defecate in the toilet bowl, in the toilet, okay? So I'm going to proceed here. The city argues that feeding the homeless food has not been cooked in a certified kitchen could spread illness, and that feeding them is only enabling homelessness. Huh? Although Houston police have yet to issue a citation for violation of the ordinance, it has been an issue of concern among activists since the moment it passed in late November. ABC 13 reported that activists delivered 75,000 signed petitions to City Hall calling for the repeal of the ordinance. As Houston prepares to host the National Football League Super Bowl 51, there is concern that the homeless population will be forced out of the downtown area or is subject to increased harassment from the police. In November, AP reported fences have gone up and dozens of homeless people living under a Houston freeway overpass has been ordered out amidst the speculation the city is trying to make the area presentable as it prepares to host Super Bowl early next year. The Texas Transportation Department claims the move was not related to the Super Bowl and insists they were responding to safety concerns for drivers and pedestrians. If the city of Houston is attempting to remove the homeless for their incoming sports events economic boom, it will not be the first. In April 2016, the International Business Times reported on the Brazilian government's attempt to beautify parts of Rio at the expense of the homeless and other at-risk groups. Clean the Streets as a project is euphemistically known is not an effort to haul garbage but to sweep away homeless people and drug dealers, including the often drug-addicted children who lives on the sidewalks of some of Rio's wealthiest neighborhoods. Advocates for homeless youth say children are being detained arbitrarily by police or in some cases simply vanishing. They warn that the cleanup is likely more make life worse than ever for thousands of children who have already been forced out of their homes by abuse or desperate poverty. Rio and Houston are not alone in the mistreatment of homeless individuals. In October 2014, the National Coalition for the Homeless released a report that found 21 USCs have passed measures restricting feeding of the homeless since January 2013. So another thing they want to say, let's support victimless crime ordinances so they can make themselves real tough. And it was so pathetic that the Houston Police Force and that Waste Management are just bending over for the city. You know what? If you guys are real tough, you should let those yahoos in that city know, hey, you do this on your own. Let's see how tough you are. And if they don't like you, give them a bar of Palmolive soap. This is pure blasphemy. I see it's happening in Fort Lauderdale as well with these jackasses, as far as I'm concerned. Think they're smarter than everybody else. They can't even take care of their own buildings. Talk about safety concerns for the people. Come on. Don't give me that crap. It's not working. It's not working at all. Let the people feed into them peacefully. Long as the people in that homeless community are respecting the others around them, it shouldn't be a problem. Don't get me wrong. You have a great amount of them that have some major issues I don't want to deal with. All right, but there's others out there are awesome folks. They have their problems, and there's somebody. I chat with them. Somebody's not this time, but I'll give them food too. It doesn't bother me one bit. So, but something like this is just unacceptable, man. I'm sorry. Give these people a hand. They live there, and that's all I'm gonna say about that. I don't want to digress. Yeah, next one here came from the Duran. This is written by Alex Christoforou. It says here, Angela Merkel prepares laws that will fine social media sites $522,000 a day for leaving fake news stories online. Angela Merkel, another Jezebelian harlot to the New World Order, trying to act real tough and tough. Woo, okay. Says here, Germany is coming completely undone, and a move that will most certainly lead the way to other EU vassal states adopting similar measures. Angela Merkel is considering imposing a 500,000 euros or $522,000 fine on Facebook and other social media platforms for each day they leave a fake news story up without deleting it. The German government will consider the bill in the new year. The initiative has bipartisan support, allowing both officials and private complainants to flag a content that's considered fake news. The law forces social networks to create and country offices focus on responding to takedown demands and make social networks legally responsible for compensation. If posts by individual users were found to slander someone, we are confident that no private individuals will abuse such laws for financial gain. What's the matter, Germany? Are you guys going broke? Yeah, your little open border policy is not helping out either, right? And I say that in good faith. With George Soros financing a third-party fact-checking organization, retain the flag, and censor fake news on Facebook, we are positive that any application, not the neoliberal globalist kind, will be properly removed from social media platforms so as to avoid Merkel's book-burning fine. Germany's parliamentary chief of the Social Democratic Party, Thomas Oppermann, in an interview with German's Der Spiegel magazine said, if after the relevant checks Facebook does not immediately within 24 hours delete the offering post, then it must reckon with severe penalties of up to 500,000 euros. After such laws are passed in Germany, if Facebook were truly an open communication platform, they should pull out of Germany and see how the populace reacts to Merkel's brutal attack on free speech. Don't be fooled. This is a move that clamps down on free speech and is something a dictator in the Banana Republic would do. Absolutely. Merkel, for her part, will brush such claims aside and resort to the standard EU-US excuse for blaming Russia for their homegrown sinister agenda to rule their nations with an iron fist. she probably has Palmolive hands. Palmolive. You're a bar Palmolive soap, okay? Heat Street reports that legislation is being pushed to combat Russian election hacking in Germany before such elections take place, and with no evidence of such hacking having been proven by Germans of U.S. officials, German lawmakers believe this bill will help tackle the possibility of Russia's meddling in parliamentary elections scheduled for next year. This follows the allegations that the Kremlin was behind the hacking of the Democratic National Committee that led to the leaks of thousands of emails by key aides to Hillary Clinton. The German intelligence agency has warned Russia could try to undermine the elections next year by employing automated bots on social media to spread fake news articles. Some members of the government have advocated criminalizing the spread of so-called fake news. Patrick Sensburg, a senior and MP in Merkel's party, said recently targeting disinformation to destabilize a state should be a criminal offense. Hans-Georg Maaßen, head of Germany's domestic intelligence agencies, told Brian Bild Sonntag, Facebook is earning an awful lot of money with fake news, he added. A company that earns billions from the internet also has social responsibility. Oh, yeah, please think for me, government of Germany. You are smarter than all of us combined. I just gotta laugh. These folks here, it's like a bunch of circus performers. Okay, I'm like the ringmaster. They're like the clowns. they get so offended or so sensitive. Give me a break. The truth of the matter is, what they're trying to do, what people said the Third Reich was controlled the broadcasting and the media when they took over. So it's like, is it the Adolf Hitler revised, the Third Reich revised, the Fourth Reich in Germany? Something to really think about. And as far as I'm concerned, Angela Merkel's a fraud. She's just another Jezebel heart to the New World Order. And the rest of her Uncle Tom's and Aunt Jemimas that march with her are just as pathetic. Please read your German Constitution. I think they talk about free speech in that one, right? Let's find out. Hey, let's go find out right now if they have a thing on free speech. And it does. Hey, good timing there. And I like what it says here on basic rights, chapter 1 of the what they call this here, German Constitution. Okay, and it says here, human dignity, Article 1. Human dignity is inviolable. To respect and protect its duties of all state authority. In Article in Section 2, the German people therefore acknowledge inviolable and inalienable human rights as a basis of every human community of peace and justice in the world. And it says here, in Article 2, Section 1, everyone has the right to free development of his personality insofar as he does not violate the rights of others or offend against the constitutional order of morality. Everyone has the right to life and physical integrity. The freedom of the person is inviolable. Intrusion of these rights may be only pursuant to a statute. Okay, that's Article 2. And let's see here. Let's go a little looking down here. Article 5. Subsection Article 5 called expression. Subsection 1. Everyone has the right to freely express and designate his opinions in speech, writing, and pictures, and to freely inform himself from generally accessible sources. The freedom of the press and freedom of reporting by means of broadcast and films are guaranteed. There may be no censorship. Subsection 2. These rights are subject to limitation in the provisions of general statutes and statutory provisions for the protection of the youth and the right to personal honor. 3. Arts, science, research, and teaching are free. Freedom of teaching does not release any allegiance to the Constitution. So right there, my friends, Angela Merkel and her cronies are hypocrites because they're against their own Constitution, Article 5. I'm going to add that to my footnotes so you can tell her and her cornball comrades to stick it. Plain and simple. They're pathetic, and they don't have a clue. Actually, I'll take that back. They think you're so damn stupid and so sensitive. You can't tolerate it. They want to be your nanny. Well, give them the big middle finger. That's all I gotta say about that. All right, here's another one. Came out yesterday. As an activist posted, yeah, they got some good stuff. I like to mix it up here a lot. They got some good stuff. It says here, Europe proposes confiscating gold, cash, Bitcoin, and paid pre-cards to fight terror financing. This is by Claire Burnish. Following exceedingly unpopular moves by China and India, the European Commission has now proposed to tighten control on cash and precious metals, going so far as to allow confiscation of gold and assets of anyone even believing to be associated with terrorism or terrorists. Assumption, kinda, sort of, it's the only way, kinda, sort of, will get us through the day. These confiscations and structures around personal wealth would be part of the European Union's action plan against terrorist financing proposed following the terrorist attacks on Paris in November 2015. Expect the impetus to apply the measures came when a truck exploded into bustling Christmas market in Berlin on December 19th, killing 12 people and injuring scores more. It appears the commission to repetitiously propose their tighter controls on cash and precious metals after the market attack, but in just before the holidays, possibly to avoid a acrimonious backlash. Reuters reports under the new proposals, custom officials in European Union states can step up checks on cash and prepaid payment cards sent by post or in freight shipments. but travelers to Europe won't avoid the clampdown as the report continues. Authorities will also be able to seize cash or precious metals carried by suspected individuals entering the EU. If you look like a fool, they'll say, I think you're a terrorist. Assumption is the only way to go. That's how they think. People carrying more than 10,000 euros, slightly over $10,450 in cash, have already declared that at customs when entering the EU, the new rules would allow authorities to seize money below that threshold. Where there are suspicions of criminal activity, the EU Executive Commission said in a note. Officials from the European Union claim terrorists executed recent attacks with small budgets, sometimes financed by criminal organizations located elsewhere. Thus, a perfect justification to restrict cash and precious metals present itself with the attack in Berlin. According to Reuters, the European Commission is debating whether to implement the EU-specific terrorist finance tracking program to mirror one already in place between EU and the United States, which Reuters note has long been opposed by EU lawmakers and private campaigners because it allows widespread checks on consumer bank transfers. Interesting, the U.S. Department of Treasury, upon implementation of the American Terrorist Financial Tracking Plan, wrote that seems in retrospect that if we're trying to convince itself the plan merit, stating this is exactly the kind of program that Americans want and expect from the government to prevent future further terrorist attacks. Well, I say it doesn't work. But the commission didn't stop there. Also proposed are common rules among the 28 member nations to freeze terrorist financial resources and confiscating the financial assets of everyone even thought to be associated with criminals. That includes Angela Merkel in Germany. But the European Commission's plans to get even darker from there because in spite of sensible targets of terrorists and criminals, its proposals leave innocent citizens at risk of being unjustly accused and losing significant personal wealth. To wit, anyone who wishes to make a payment of 150 euro dollars or $156.85 or more using a prepaid card will be forced to show identification in order to complete the transaction. Rose explained the plans complement previous proposals following the Paris attacks, seeking to tighten controls on virtual currency such as Bitcoin and prepaid cards, when French authorities said were used to fund the bombings. It's all New World Order, you bunch of morons. Get that through your thick heads. Another proposal pro-offered in its putative fight against terrorism criminalizes money laundering for the first time, particularly in regard to virtual currency, and the EU will study whether Bitcoin should be more strictly regulated. The undertones in these proposals say nothing of first identifying individual criminals or terrorist cells and proceeding to address only their finances. Rather, the proposals could cover everyone, all citizens, imitating. The true targets are the assets of ordinary Europeans, whether intentionally or as a casualty of the repressive measures. Yep, it's called doing things the lazy ass way. There are clear signs that in a very convoluted way, possession of gold for assessment purposes will be made illegal. Zero Hedge warned exact capital controls to follow. While any one of this group of proposals would make advocates to personal liberty cringe, everyone of the 28 member nations has backed the plan. It now awaits the approval for the European Parliament. In the future, all EU member states will recognize the seizure of terrorist assets or the freezing of accounts in every EU country, asserted EU Justice Commissioner Vera Jourova, according to Deutsche Welle. Accounts will be frozen within 48 hours of notice being given. Jourova explained, adding loopholes must be closed. Man, these people are so degrading, you know? I could say blasphemy to the core, man. You know, overbearing and unusually restrictive. It hasn't been made clear by any officials whether the proposed measures would be effective at shutting down terrorist networks or even preventing a single attack. Yet gold, precious metals, cash, Bitcoin, prepaid cards based over basically $150 in bank accounts, particularly if you're unusually wealthy, and that can now be seized by the state at the moment's notice without warning. If the government has so much in its inkling, you're up to no good. That's right. Government knows best. That's how these they are parasites of society, of the nation, and the world. So if they assume, they're right. If you guess, you're the fool. This is how these Berries think. And I'll tell you this: I think every nation should get out of that. Every nation, the 20 nations, they should secede from the European Union. Give them the big middle finger. I'll tell you one thing: if this happens, your tourist economy can hit rock bottom. It will backfire when least expected. People don't want to be around police state measures. So folks are waking up. And this is why they're your enemies. Government as a whole, generally speaking. Not me not hating them. I don't trust them. Never have, never will. Plus, always got to be vigilant towards these folks. Be aware of my brothers and sisters in Europe. Don't get had. Don't get punked or duped. This is what they want you to believe. That they're doing it for your protection. All right. Next one here came from allgov.com. It came out yesterday. Is it yesterday? I think it came out yesterday or today, one of those two. But it says here, U.S. retains title of world's top arms dealer, reaping half of $80 billion global sales in 2015. Tom Shanker, New York Times. United States, again, ranked first in global weapons sales last year, signing deals for about $40 billion or half of all agreements in the worldwide arms bazaar, and far ahead of France. Number 2 weapons deal with $15 billion in sales, according to a new congressional study. Developing nations continued to be the largest buyers of arms in 2015, with Qatar signing deals for more than $17 billion in weapons last year, followed by Egypt, which agreed to buy almost $12 billion in arms, and Saudi Arabia, with over $8 billion in weapons purchases. Although global tensions and terrorist threats have shown few signs of diminishing, the total size of global arms trade dropped to $80 billion in 2015 from a 2014 total of $89 billion. The study found developing nations brought $65 billion in weapons in 2015, substantially lower than the previous year's total of $79 billion. The United States and France increased their overseas weapons sales in 2015 as purchases of the U.S. weapons grew by $4 billion, and France's deals increased by well over $9 billion. Report the conventional arms transfers in developing nations 2008-2015 was prepared by a nonpartisan Congressional Research Service division of the Library of Congress and delivered to legislators last week. Report to adjust for inflation, so the sales totals are comparable year to year. Constraints on the expression of foreign weapons sales are due in part to the weakening state of the global economy, wrote Catherine A. Theohari, a national security policy specialist at the Congressional Research Service. Some nations have chosen to limit their purchasing to upgrades of existing systems, then to training and support services, she said. Russia, another dominant power in the global arms market, saw a modest decline in orders for its weapons, dropping to $11.1 billion in sales from $11.2 billion in total in 2014. Latin American nations, particularly Venezuela, have become a focus of marketing for Russian arms, the study found. China reached $6 billion in weapon sales, up from its 2014 total more than $3 billion. To learn more, there's plenty of links on here to check it out. Hey, man, all hail to the military-industrial complex, right? Absolutely. That's one thing that makes me laugh because everyone's worried about terrorists, but you got people in government selling all these weapons. So nations selling all these arms, arms deals galore, right? Yeah, I don't hear them calling people out. So, and it's just another day in the factory. All right. Well, I'm gonna do one more thing here, and this is Mike Adams, and his good little article says here. Thank you for a revolutionary year throughout 2016. Here's why 2017 may be the most astonishing and dangerous year of our lives. As we approach the end of 2016, we have all shared extraordinary success, breakthroughs, and revolutionary realizations to have reshaped human history. It's been a vibrant journey to share 2016 with all of you. I want to thank you for your support, your comments, your suggestions, your advocacy of our mission. Without your support, this website would not exist, and society would suffer the loss of an important dissenting voice as a result. 2016 was a year when the corrupt establishment realized they could be defeated by passionate people calling out for real change. From the Brexit vote in the UK to the rejection of the deep corruption of Hillary Clinton and the DNC, people everywhere voted to overthrow the corrupt establishment and choose something radically different for human society. All of us have been instrumental in seeing these changes take place. With your help, we all made a lasting difference. We helped defeat the evil Clinton machine while exposing the fake news lies of CNN, the New York Post, NYT, MSNBC, and all other propagandists who pretend to be engaged in journalism. In response, the empire is determined to strike back. Facebook has now appointed a cabal of actual horrors at Snopes to censor independent journalism by labeling it fake news. India's financial minister has all but outlawed large denominations of cash currency, thrusting the entire nation of financial chaos as part of a plan to exercise police state control over citizens' financial transactions. Germany is launching an actual ministry of truth to silence dissent. And the Obama subversion machine has announced as wholly fabricated scheme to punish Russia for its so-called election interference, but it's actually a thinly veiled attempt to stop World War III before Trump gets inaugurated in January 20th. Everywhere you turn, the globalist establishment is operating in panic mode to control financial markets, manipulate public opinion, override common sense, and to silence the truth in all its forms. This could only mean we are close to achieving their defeat. We now stand on the verge of a global revolution in freedom and transparency that could make the entire globalist system to subterfuge, collusion, and conspiracy all but obsolete. And you have a front row seat to all action. Great heroes of humanity like Eric Snowden, Julian Assange, and Cheryl Atkinson have helped make this happen. Champions of journalistic freedom like Glenn Greenwald at The Intercept have accelerated its trend. And I hope you agree that we are here at the Natural News Network have a meaningful contributions in the same direction. Truly remarkable movies have also gained recognition this year, while waking people up by millions in shocking Matrix, which they've been living. And if I were to name the three most important films that gained traction in 2016, they would be The Big Short, Snowden, Boom, Bust, Boom. As more and more truth keeps coming out, being really big issues, the massive global scandal of central banks and the Federal Reserve, the great harm caused to millions of children by vaccines, the massive treatment of scam of the corrupt cancer industry, the total political corruption of the DNC and the Clinton mafia machine, fake news propaganda of the mainstream media, the George Soros agenda to initiate a race war in America, the Barack Obama sleeper cell, KGB subversion agenda to dismantle America, the total quack science host of man-made global warming, the Common Core agenda to teach our children false history. The appetite for even more truth just keeps accelerating. People have been fed lie after lie for so long that they're now starving for truthful, honest information of every topic imaginable. That's our mission for 2017 and beyond. With our help, with your help, we are continuing to expand our content reach while scaling up our news operation to replace imploding left-wing fake stream media. Some of our plans to expand human knowledge and consciousness. In 2017, we are launching a live daily news video broadcast. We're releasing a documentary film. We're launching dozens of new websites targeted to specific news themes, such as Enviro.news, which focuses on environmental news. We're even expanding our in-house laboratory with robotic automation for testing more samples with greater throughput, allowing us to publish more lab results for off-the-shelf products. That'd be nice. We're hiring new writers, editors, logistic coordinators. We're expanding our facilities to speed production and fulfillment times, and we're expanding our range of lab-validated super clean products offered through the Health Ranger store. Our goal is to bring your expanded awareness, critical thinking, and intelligence analysis of world events. In doing so, we are naturally seeking to expose the corruption and criminality found in nearly every institution, medicine, media, government, education, etc. In pursuing all this, we face powerful and dangerous enemies of the truth, who steeped in lies, deception, and corruption. The entire left-wing media is an immediate enemy of truth and is joined by right-leaning organizations such as Monsanto, which are also steeped in deep-rooted evil. The road won't be easy, but as we expose and disempower these evil actors in modern society, we find purpose and meaning in our lives, and that's mostly why we keep doing what we're doing, because it matters. With your support, 2017 stands to be an extraordinary year. We've even ever shared together, but will also be the most treacherous for us all. Globalists are on the verge of criminalizing cash. The police state surveillance of private citizens has never been more intense. Global bank cartels are right now plotting a major market crash, a debt collapse, in order to blame Trump for the ensuing financial turmoil. 2017 may be the year when the bank frees all of our accounts and transactions. Independent journalism like websites like Natural News may be targeted for extreme censorship. Many patriots, like myself, may face unprecedented escalations of death threats and attempted acts of violence against us. Yes, none of these are sufficient reasons to stop marching forward for truth, transparency, and the creation of a more free society for everyone. We must face tremendous evil head on and then defeat it. In other words, we will never know the truth, freedom, and real contentment in our lives. Recognize you are participating in spiritual battle of good versus evil. That's why I invite you to continue on this journey with me throughout 2017 and beyond. All I need is your continued support of the Health Ranger store and its 600 plus high-end products I'll be adding every month. Yeah, a little bit of sales pitch, but that's okay. With your continued support, I will continue fighting to challenge the status quo, expose the lies, and tell the truth on every subject that matters, from medicine to politics to consciousness. I thank you for your trust in me, your dedication to our shared mission, and your tolerance of those times when I get too distracted by current events and fail to focus on bigger long-term picture. My sincere hope and intention is that throughout 2017, you and I achieve a far greater degree of self-reliance, insulation against financial disasters, and increased awakening of others around us who have slumbered for far too long in a fairy tale land. This time for humanity is to fully awaken is now upon us. Yes, it means facing some disturbing realizations about the true nature of the deep evil that infests our society. From the pizza parlors in our nation's capital, they don't even actually serve pizza. And if you know what I mean, to the satanic worship across Hollywood and the pop culture elite. I hope that 2017 is the year in which evil gets exposed and then destroyed across every sector of our society. It is time that we recognize the true nature of the epic battle between good and evil playing out before us, and embrace our roles in fighting on the side of truth to defeat deception. These are the divinely inspired goals for our time that they can empower us to keep moving forward even we are bombarded by lies, smears, and the politics of personal destruction. Never surrender to the obedient masses. Never give in to the evil that infests our sick culture. Never look at a living human infant and tell yourself it's okay to chop that baby into pieces to be harvested for science. Draw the line with strong ethical and moral boundaries. Reject seduction, conformity, and self destruction. Invest in your knowledge, your health, and your awareness, and you'll be richly rewarded in 2017. Truth in your expanded consciousness and critical thinking. Do not worship any human. Finally, do not ever surrender your dignity to any guru or leader or any cult of personality. Believe in yourself and your God. Do not be deceived into worshiping any human being or ground upon which they walk. Reject cultism in all its forms, including political cultism, religious cultism, and guru worship. Do not ever fall for the false belief that you must be directed by someone else in order to find your higher truth. False prophets around may seem incredibly convincing. Most are complete frauds. Be wary of false prophets. Seek in truth in Mother Nature, God and the divine. Only those in realms you be presented with genuine truth, untainted by the selfish whims and thirst for power found among too many humans. For the last 8 years, many Americans have worshiped pure evil in the White House. Catholics have been deceived by the Pope. Healing Act petitioners have been suckered into following many false prophets. Technocultists have been suckered into believing that technology is their God. All these have been convincing but false illusions. My most important job, in fact, is to dispel illusions that still infect your consciousness. Whether the subject is health, politics, history, or science, my real aim is to help you break free from the false programming by which you have been indoctrinated. It's really that simple. And that end of the day, my aim is that you can see the world with the perfect clarity, completely on your own, without any an- uh, uh, analysis or interpretation needed from anyone else, including me. In essence, when I achieve my most important goal in all of this, I will be obsolete and irrelevant because the things I write will have been already been obvious to you, even I wrote them. That, my friends, is the ultimate success as a writer and teacher. It's not to make it depend on any of my words, suggestions, or influences, but rather to see to see you the day rather to see you to the day where you no longer need anything I can offer because it's already obvious to you via your own mental faculties and expanded awareness. Hence, my real goal for the rest of my life is to render my work here increasingly irrelevant, an instinct throwback to an era in which truth was punished and deceptions were celebrated by a twisted society that has been long since ceased to exist. Sadly, I doubt I will live long enough to see that day arrive. which means it's up to you to carry the torch and help awaken others at every step of your journey. There is much work to be done, and achieving it will require partnership among all truth tellers. That's why, when you find the truth on any important topic, the most important thing you can do is share with others. And Mr. Adams is absolutely correct. And I'd like to thank him for sharing this information on his views and beliefs. And even myself, because even his input won't make my show possible. So I always pay homage to individuals like him. And a lot of folks out there are doing the same thing. And every single one of you that are listening can follow through. Be the teachers, be the rabbis. Do this with love and in good faith. Sometimes passion gets in the way. We've all been there. I admit it myself. But we have to practice hate, fear, control no more. This is why I always told people the biggest mistake those demoniacs made in the new millennium was September 11, 2001, the so-called terrorist attacks, and the murder of Milton William Cooper, who wrote Behold a Pale Horse and was broadcast for Hour of the Time. So I knew what I had to do, and I do not regret it one bit. My job, just for me as an example, is never to change people, way of thinking, but inspire them to see things broader. We're all unique individuals one way or the other. This is why I can't let these snakes in the grass tell us how we should be. Our rights are natural born. It is not a privilege. Doesn't matter what you look like, what your sexual orientation is, what your creed is. It doesn't matter, etc. Each and every one of us can make impact, strong impact. So our goal is to ensure true peace, security, and spiritual prosperity. And we can do that by defining the New World Order. They know the time is coming. And we will prevail, one way or the other. And I'd like to thank everyone for listening to this episode. Plus, feel free to download and share us throughout your social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to send me something that's pretty cool I may want to check out, wherever you do, please send your correspondence over to Decorum. You keep me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Tumblr, YouTube, Freedoms Network, and Scene.life. I may be checking out, maybe working on Minds.com too. Have it set up. I'm gonna play with that for a while. We'll be starting in January. In addition, you can email me at LokiLuck3, which is LokiLuck3 at gmail.com. And hopefully I'll probably do one more episode before the year ends. And I'll be probably doing the same thing and give you my intake and what's going on. I gotta say, people say it's a real lousy year. I see the good and bad in every year. So, one thing I'm excited, I do see a big spiritual awakening has accelerated. Like I said, addressed before, the Chinese astrology is called 2016, the year of the monkey, the transformation year. And the year of the monkey is supposed to end January 27th. So the year of the roots would be January 28th of next year. But everyone, if I don't do another episode before the New Year's, folks out there, be safe, okay? All right, my friends, that's all for now. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demoniac resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourself. Keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirit be with you.